Right now, your brain is being controlled by invisible puppet strings you never knew existed. And the puppet masters are laughing at how easily you comply. Every word you speak is a spell cast against your own potential. But once you crack this code, you can reprogram your reality and break free from their mental prison forever. Watch this video and you will reprogram your reality. Right now, as you're watching this video, your brain is being controlled by invisible puppet strings you never knew existed. And here's the kicker. You've been walking around thinking you're making your own decisions, but you're not. You're living inside a carefully constructed mental prison, and the bars, they're made of words. Every single day, from the moment you wake up until you close your eyes at night, you're being programmed by a language system so sophisticated that 99.9% of people have absolutely no clue it's happening. Think I'm being dramatic? Let me ask you something. When was the last time you questioned why you say good morning when most mornings feel like garbage? Or why we call it breaking news when it's designed to break your spirit? Here's what the elite don't want you to realize. Language isn't just communication. It's the ultimate mind control weapon, and it's been deployed against you since the day you learned to speak. While everyone's worried about privacy and data collection, they missed the real invasion, the hijacking of human consciousness through everyday words and phrases. But here's the beautiful irony. Once you understand this system, you can flip it on its head and use it to create the life you actually want instead of the one you've been programmed to accept. Let me blow your mind with something that will change how you see everything. The word abracadabra. You know, that silly magic word kids use? It actually means I create as I speak in ancient Aramaic. Our ancestors knew something we've conveniently forgotten, that words literally shape reality. But here's where it gets sinister. Somewhere along the line, this knowledge was hijacked by those in power and weaponized against the masses. They turned language from a tool of creation into a system of limitation. Think about it. Why do you think they call it spelling? You're literally casting spells every time you arrange letters into words. And don't get me started on the legal system when you're summoned to court. That's the same word used in ancient magic to call forth spirits. Coincidence? I think not. The entire system treats you like a battery to be charged, a cell to be contained, or a unit to be processed. They've turned human beings into legal fictions, and most people are walking around completely oblivious to this linguistic sleight of hand. The really twisted part? They've made it so obvious that it's hidden in plain sight. Take the word mortgage. It literally means death pledge in French. You're signing a death contract, pledging your life energy for decades, and somehow they've convinced you it's the American dream. Meanwhile, you're trapped in what they cleverly call an occupation, which doesn't mean your job. It means your mind is occupied, conquered territory. Now, let's talk about how this affects you personally. Because this isn't just some abstract conspiracy theory, this is happening to you right now, today. Every morning you participate in your own programming ritual, and you don't even know it. You wake up and immediately check the news. But wait, what's new about recycled fear and anxiety served fresh daily? The word broadcast literally means to cast ideas broadly like casting spells over the masses, and you're voluntarily tuning in to have your reality shaped by people who profit from keeping you scared, angry, and divided. Then you go to work, your occupation, where you spend 8 hours having your mind occupied by tasks that drain your life force. You come home exhausted, wondering why you feel empty inside, never realizing that you've been linguistically programmed to accept this as normal. Your supervisor supervises your vision, making sure you never see beyond the cubicle walls. Here's what really gets me fired up. They've programmed you to say, "I can't afford it," so automatically that you trained your brain to scan for lack instead of abundance. Every time those words leave your mouth, you're casting a poverty spell on yourself. Meanwhile, the people who understand this system are saying, "How can I afford it?" and training their brains to find solutions instead of limitations. And let's talk about the most insidious programming of all, TGIF. Thank God it's Friday. They've got you so miserable that you're celebrating the fact that 5/7 of your life sucks. You're literally thanking a higher power that most of your existence is finally over for the week. How messed up is that? Now, before you think I've gone completely off the deep end, let me hit you with some hard science that proves words literally rewire your brain. Neuroplasticity research shows that every word you hear, think, or speak creates physical pathways in your neural network. You're not just using language. Language is using you, reshaping your brain one phrase at a time. Here's where it gets really wild. Scientists have proven that words can actually change the molecular structure of water. When researchers exposed water to positive words like love and gratitude, the water formed beautiful, symmetrical crystals. Negative words like hate and fear, the water turned into chaotic, fragmented messes. Now remember, your body is 60% water. What do you think happens when you constantly tell yourself, "I'm not good enough," or "life is hard"? But here's the part that'll really cook your noodle. Quantum physicists have discovered that the act of observation literally changes reality at the subatomic level. Every word you speak is an act of observation, collapsing infinite possibilities into your specific experience. When you say, "I'm broke," you're not describing reality, you're creating it. The establishment has known about this for centuries. Why do you think ancient rulers hired court magicians, and why modern leaders hire speechwriters? They understand that whoever controls the language controls the people. Marketing executives make millions crafting phrases that bypass your conscious mind and implant desires directly into your subconscious. They're not selling products, they're selling linguistic viruses that reprogram your wants and needs. And here's the kicker. Studies show people who use positive, empowering language have better health outcomes, stronger immune systems, and even live longer. Meanwhile, those trapped in negative linguistic patterns suffer from higher rates of depression, anxiety, and physical illness. Your words aren't just affecting your mind, they're literally killing or healing your body. Let me tell you about the most sophisticated brainwashing operation in human history, and it's happening right under your nose through every screen. Every headline, every carefully crafted phrase designed to hijack your emotions and manipulate your behavior. The media doesn't report the news. They manufacture your reality using what psychologists call framing effects. The same event can be called a riot or a demonstration, a tax cut or tax relief, a death panel or end-of-life counseling. They're not just choosing words, they're choosing your emotional response and political opinions for you. Here's how they do it. They use what's called the spiral of silence. They repeat certain viewpoints so loudly and frequently that anyone with different opinions feels isolated and eventually stops speaking up. This creates the illusion that everyone agrees, when really they've just bullied dissenting voices into submission. It's psychological warfare disguised as journalism. And don't even get me started on advertising. These people have weaponized neuroscience against your wallet. They've studied your brain patterns so thoroughly that they can predict your behavior better than you can. That limited time offer isn't about scarcity. It's about triggering your fear of missing out. Act Now bypasses your logical brain and hits your impulsive decision-making center directly. But here's what really makes my blood boil. They've convinced you that questioning their narrative makes you crazy. They've programmed society to label anyone who thinks critically as a conspiracy theorist, effectively neutering intellectual curiosity and independent thinking. Meanwhile, they're literally conspiring to influence your thoughts, emotions, and behaviors 24/7, and calling it public relations and marketing. The most evil part? They've turned your own family and friends into unwitting accomplices by getting them to repeat these limiting phrases and negative programming. Social pressure becomes a delivery system for mental viruses that spread from person to person, generation to generation. But here's where the story takes a beautiful turn. Once you see the matrix, you can't unsee it, and more importantly, you can reprogram it to work for you instead of against you. The same system they've used to limit you can become your greatest tool for transformation. First, you need to become a linguistic detective in your own life. Start catching yourself every time you use limiting language. When you say, "I can't," immediately ask, "How could I?" When you say, "I don't have," replace it with, "I choose to prioritize other things right now." This isn't just positive thinking. You're literally rewiring your neural pathways to scan for possibilities instead of limitations. Here's a game changer that costs nothing, but will revolutionize your results. Start using becoming language instead of being language. Instead of "I am wealthy," which your subconscious might reject as false, say, "I am becoming wealthier every day." This feels true to your brain and opens up pathways for growth instead of creating internal resistance. And here's my favorite technique. Hijack their own system by understanding the hidden meanings in words and using them intentionally. Remember, wealth comes from weal, meaning well-being. When you focus on true wealth, health, relationships, purpose, abundance, money becomes a natural byproduct instead of an elusive goal. The most powerful tool? Gratitude expressed through language. When you say, "I am grateful for ... you're literally commanding your brain to focus on abundance. Studies show that people who practice linguistic gratitude have measurably different brain chemistry, more dopamine, less cortisol, stronger immune systems. You're not just thinking positive thoughts, you're creating positive biology. But here's the secret sauce. Combine intention with action. Words without aligned behavior are just wishful thinking. But words with consistent action become unstoppable force for change. Start speaking your new reality into existence. Then take steps that prove to your subconscious that you're serious about this transformation. So here we are. You now know something that most people will never understand. You've seen behind the curtain of the greatest mind control system ever created. And more importantly, you know how to turn it into your greatest ally. The question is, what are you going to do with this knowledge? Every word you speak from this moment forward is a choice between limitation and expansion, between the old programmed you and the conscious creator you're becoming. You're no longer a victim of linguistic manipulation. You're a master of reality creation through intentional language. I want you to try something right now for the next 7 days. Become obsessed with the words you use. Catch every limiting phrase and flip it. Watch how people respond to you differently when you speak with intention instead of unconscious programming. Notice how opportunities start appearing when you speak like someone who expects them. And here's what's really exciting. As you transform your own linguistic patterns, you become a deprogramming agent for everyone around you. Your conscious use of language will inspire others to question their own patterns. You'll literally be helping to wake people up just by example. Remember, this isn't just about personal success. This is about taking back human consciousness from those who have hijacked it for their own profit. Every person who wakes up to the power of intentional language is a victory for authentic human potential over manufactured limitation. The truth has been revealed, and now it's your responsibility to use it. Your new reality doesn't start tomorrow or next week. It starts with the very next words that come out of your mouth. Make them count. If this video opened your eyes to something you never saw before, smash that like button and subscribe to this channel, because there's so much more truth that needs to be revealed. And this community is where awakened minds gather to break free from the systems designed to hold us back. The revolution starts in your mind with your words right now. Your transformation begins today. Use it wisely.